Hello and welcome to another one of my random videos about my latest projects. So in researching my hidden bookcase door project, I realized that there wasn't a whole lot of information available on the internet about the required clearances around your bookcase or about the installation of the hinges themselves. I decided to go with the hinge set available from murphydoor.com. I'll put a link below in the description. Murphy Door seemed to have some information available on their website, but most of their information was related to the purchase and installation of their bookcase and not a do-it-yourself bookcase. This video will hopefully help you on your hidden door project, but it is really meant for someone who already has the knowledge and skill sets available to build a bookcase. This video will primarily focus on the installation of the hinges themselves. I wasn't able to easily find the instructions on murphydoor.com, but they did provide it for me when I requested it. If you want to build your bookcase ahead of time or while you are waiting for your hinges to show up, you will need to know the gaps all around the bookcase so that when you install it, it will open and close without any issues. The information provided by Murphy Door will tell you the clearance on the hinge side, but it will not give you the clearance on the swing side. The clearance on the swing side is dependent on the depth of your shelving unit. The deeper the shelving unit, the bigger the gap. The gap that Murphy Door allows for on their kit is really quite huge, and it is meant to accommodate a pedestal that the door rests on when it is closed. Since I was building a bookcase that was going to hold my DVD collection in my home theater, I felt that it was necessary to maximize the amount of space that I was going to have. And in using the gap that they would provide, I would lose the ability to hold about a dozen DVDs, so I felt that that was too big. So when I decided to install their pedestal, I mounted it on the inside of the bookcase, but ultimately I didn't use it at all, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Their kit provides some nice templates. These templates are definitely useful for mounting the hinge on the sill plate itself. It can be used for either an in-swinging door or an out-swinging door, and in my case it is an out-swinging door. And you simply want to line up the template with the farthest out portion of your wall or trim that the door is going to line up flush with. Most people's homes have some pretty jagged edges on the sheetrock that is hidden by the door casing. I didn't want to see those jagged edges when my bookcase was in the open position, so I added some trim that you'll see later that sat flush up against the sheetrock to cover up all of that nastiness. It actually created a nice flat surface too for the seal to close up against when the door was closed. I think this is important in older homes because in older homes the walls are never straight. And if you build your bookcase to be as hidden as possible, you certainly don't want to see any gaps inside of it, but I'll show you some more information on that later. Once I lined up the template with where the front of the bookcase would be, and keep in mind, in my case, this is going to be flush with that trim I just spoke about, I went ahead and pre-drilled the hinge holes using a centering jig to make sure that when I did screw them in, the hinge did not shift from one side to the other. You probably could recess these hinges into the sill and the bookcase itself to provide even more bookcase space, but that's fairly complicated and I really didn't need to do that in this case. They provide some long screws to go all the way down into your subframing, but I wasn't going to use these screws as I have concrete underneath my sill plate. The screws I'm putting in now is really meant to hold everything in place so that I can line everything up and get my dimensions to build my shelf. I will go back later and drill everything out with a concrete bit and set some concrete anchors in place to hold everything perfectly tight. As mentioned before, in my case, my door will swing out because of the staircase behind it. But if at all possible, you really want an in-swinging door. This will provide you the most invisible door to anybody that walks into the room. There are definitely some tells that you will see when the door is out swinging, and there's really no way to avoid them. Here you see me taping a piece of flush trim in place. This is what's going to provide the nice flat seal for my book casing to go up against. And then I need to remember that I am building a face frame bookcase, so I need to accommodate the thickness of the frame when I line everything up, and that's what I'm doing now. Right now I'm just squaring everything up so that I can mark where the second half of the hinge will go. The template provided for this part really isn't useful because it is really meant for their kit and their kit only. Since I want to build my bookcase as wide as possible and as tall as possible, the rest of the templates really aren't going to work, so you should discard them at this point. I also noticed that some of the measurements that are provided on there are also useless because, again, this is meant for their bookcase and not your do-it-yourself bookcase. I want to make sure that the second half of the hinge is perfectly square with the edge of the bottom of the bookcase. I want to try to line it up as perfectly as possible with the first half of the hinge. If I was building my bookcase in advance, I would just have it set in place right now, and I would have marked everything with a pencil and then flipped it over and done this portion. Just zipping a few screws in there to give it a test swing once I plop it in place, and I know it's going to hit on the swing side. And that's where I'm going to work out the measurements right now to see how big that gap needs to be. If you are going to put actual books on your bookcase, then you're probably going to need to go with a deeper bookcase. But in my case, this worked out perfect. But if you're going with a deeper bookcase, keep in mind that books are heavy and that everything really needs to be built to very solid tolerances when you're going with a heavy bookcase. The bigger it is, the heavier it is. The more books you put on it, the more it's going to lean over time. And these are all things that you want to factor into your construction. Once I was satisfied that everything was working good, it's time to remove the sill plate. I need to go ahead and fill in the gaps in my tile with some shims, and I'm going to pre-drill all of the holes for my Tapcon screws that will come later. When I'm ready to put everything together, I'm going to go ahead and apply a bead of construction adhesive. I'm throwing some shims in place too because my home is over 50 years old and there's not a level surface in it. So I'm making sure I'm sticking some good quality hardwood in there and a lot of extra construction adhesive so that I get no squeaks, no bows, no movement whatsoever. I like to put a little bit of construction adhesive on these Tapcon screws, and I also like to use an impact driver to put them in. I find that if you use a ratchet, they tend to bend and snap, where an impact driver pretty much drives them in one smooth motion. It's nice and level, and when I stand on it, it makes absolutely no noise at all, and I was quite happy. After making sure that all of the jambs are plumb and level, it's time to go ahead and put in the casing I spoke about earlier. I could have put this in at the beginning, but I felt I'd wait until I got farther into the project in case I had to tear anything apart. It is an old home after all. This casing is going to be shimmed from the back to make sure that it provides a perfectly flat surface for the hidden door to close up against. I'm trying to do everything possible to eliminate any visual tells that there is a door there. It is an outswinging door and there are going to be some, but I definitely don't want it to be sloppy. Any of the shims that I put in place will be hidden later by caulk and paint. Don't forget to wear your eye protection and keep your hands away from these brad nails. These brad nails will curl out or make a U-turn in the middle of the workpiece and go right into the bone of your finger. I didn't want to use any templates or measurements to put the top hinge in. I felt the most accurate way to do it was with a laser level. If the upper and lower hinge are directly above each other in all directions, it'll provide a perfectly balanced door. This way there is no tendency for it to want to swing open or closed on its own. The quality of the Murphy door hinges is outstanding, but the quality of the screws that they send you, not so much. I understand, you gotta save money somewhere. I went ahead and bought some exterior deck screws that were just a little bit longer. When you're installing the top hinge, you want to pre-drill the hole where the peg is going to go that the door is going to swing on. You also want to make sure that the crosshairs of your laser wind up right in the center of that hole on the hinge. That'll keep your hinge perfectly balanced. How solidly these hinges are installed is really going to affect the bookcase's longevity and how well it's going to function. I cannot stress enough that you really want to make sure that you're anchored perfectly into your slab or your subframing on both the top and the bottom. At this point, it's time to measure the size of my bookcase unit that's going to become the door. The information I provided earlier should have been enough to tell you how big the gaps need to be so that you can go ahead and start building your bookcase before the hinges arrive. I really wish I would have had this information, and I'm not sure if it's a trade secret or they just didn't want to tell me, but it should really be simple for them to provide this information on a simple chart on their website for the do-it-yourselfers. Now I need to make sure that the second part of each hinge for the top and bottom of the bookcase are perfectly lined up. This is also important to make sure that your door is properly balanced. You want to take your time and measure it as well as possible. I used both my laser and common hand tools to make sure that I was getting these things exactly accurate, so that when the bookcase is sandwiched between them, it is again perfectly balanced. I went ahead after I was done with this and built my bookcase outside. I left these hinge units in place because it really didn't matter, and it helped me guide me throughout the process to know which side was which. Hey, if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. I'm always putting out weird videos on some various projects that I'm doing around the house. Sometimes it's working on my car, sometimes it's a new project, sometimes it's just simply how to do something. And if you like saltwater fish tanks, check out my other channel, The Reefaholic. I'll post a link below. You need to also go ahead and drill a borehole in the top of your bookcase that the hinge pin will be able to slide into when you put the bookshelf into place. They give you a unlocking mechanism to remove the pin. I'm not sure that it's going to last, but you definitely don't want to lose this because it's almost impossible to get the pin out without it. Again, since I couldn't find any of the information online for the do-it-yourselfer, I went ahead and temporarily secured the top and bottom bookcase pieces in place. This gave me an opportunity to measure the height of the bookcase unit itself with the actual hinges in place. You know, the old measure twice, cut once thing. Here are the measurements you can make against your rough opening to make the bookcase ahead of time. It was really useful information, and I wish Murphy Door would just provide it to people. It's not all that hard to figure out once, and then from that point you could just do the math to figure it out for different size units. After a quick dry fit of the frame that will become the bookcase, I just wanted to make sure that everything will swing well. There was some slight rubbing of the bookcase as it swung open, and that was easy to take care of with a round over bit on a router. I didn't build the individual shelves yet. I wanted to once again dry fit this thing before I went ahead and started gluing in a whole bunch of shelves. I think I had 7 shelves in total. Once again, that slight bind